Let's begin with our first segment, and that concerns the terrorism in Pakistan. Pakistan's efforts to thwart this terrorism, its war against this terrorism, and the involvement, direct or indirect, of the Afghan interim government and the fitna al-Khawarij and all of that, that has recently been proven by the 2 dead bodies that has been accepted by the Afghan interim government. We've been joined by Major General retired Tariq Rasheed Saab to discuss more on that. He's right here with us in the studio. Sir, thank you very much to have joined us and to have come all the way to the studios. Let's begin with some of the latest incidents. 7 terrorists kill, a soldier is martyred, different encounters in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa on Sunday, whether it be in Dera Ismail Khan, whether it be in the Mir Ali Tehsil of North Waziristan. How do you see the determination of our armed forces to thwart all such attempts? Because, you know, when the Chief of the Army Staff or when our DGISPR talks about a certain number of incidents that have happened in the year 2024, that does not discount or count the number of people or number of incidents that they have thwarted before they could happen. How important is it for us as Pakistanis to realize the importance and the efforts, sincere efforts that are being put by our armed forces?
I think the resolve of armed forces is absolute. They are very clear in mind that they are the enemies of Pakistan, and we have to show zero tolerance for them. If you see that since the withdrawal of the America or so-called the Western countries or the NATO or ISAF in 2021, these incidents have gradually increased and they peaked in 2024. And this is 2025 and this 1.5 months, a number of incidents have happened. And daily the Jawans and of Pakistan Army and law enforcing agencies are laying down their life. But similarly, they are making sure that they cause severe damage to fitna al-Khawarij and anybody who is involved in terrorist activities in Pakistan. So for every soldier who lays down his life, I think there are about 2 to 3 Khawarijis who are also being killed. And then we have also seen that the Pakistan Army and the present government of Pakistan, led by Shahbaz Sharif Saab, they are on one page. An incident happened in Kalat, so Chief of Army Staff was the first one to visit there, followed by the Prime Minister of Pakistan. No, there is a need to also involve the local community in this fight against terrorism. For example, if any Khawariji or any terrorist element, if they see in their respective area, they should immediately report. And they need to be in confidence. So along with that, inshallah, we will soon win this war of terrorism against Pakistan.
DI Khan, KP, and then Balochistan, these are areas that are targeted by the terrorists, mostly the fitna. I mean, I can go on and on the different incidents that have happened in the last few weeks or in the last few months, but what I want to understand is, what is the basic aim, objective of the fitna? What do they achieve by such incidents, by destabilizing or trying to destabilize Pakistan?
In my assessment, if you analyze, presently the incidents have curtailed to the border area, especially if you talk of KPK. The incidents are happening in the belt of district Karak, then Bannu, Dia Khan and North Waziristan. Now, all these areas are quite rich in mineral resources. For example, in Karak, there are huge deposits of oil and gas. You talk of North Waziristan, there is gold and copper is there. You talk of Dia Khan, there are rich deposits of gypsum there. There is a proven reserve of over 77 million ton, which has been so far discovered. Similarly, the case in Balochistan. You see, currently the incidents are happening in the area of Kalat and Avaran, Turbat and Gwadar, and also to some extent in Qila Abdullah area or Zob area. So all of these places are rich in mineral resources, and so they don't want to, this anti-state element of Pakistan, they don't want that these areas should prosper. There is an economic development activities. So we need to understand their objective. And of course, there are some dissident elements which are there in Afghanistan, and Afghanistan interim government has not been able to completely rein in them. And no, they have also been exposed by the recent statement by the President Trump that we are weekly giving them around $50 million. And then he has also lately said that we are going to stop that.
Yes.
So I think what we need to do is, while continuing with our bilateral effort to convince the Afghan governments to play a more proactive role in controlling this terrorist element from on their soil. We also need to engage China, for example, and have some kind of a summit involving China, Pakistan, Iran, Afghanistan and some certain Asian state, and jointly work out a plan to eradicate this terrorism from this region.
We've had many summits in the past, Saab, in which many important countries, neighbors of Pakistan, have discussed the issue of Afghanistan, but no tangible success has been achieved as far as that is concerned. You said try to involve the Afghan interim government as far as ending such terrorist activities is concerned, but Pakistan has done that many a times. What is stopping the Afghan interim government from taking tangible steps to stop the influx of terrorism into Pakistan?
I think one is the issue of capacity. The second issue is that they have logically, for example, they are aligned with the terrorist organizations. For example, the Afghan Taliban at one time were also terrorists, and then American has to spend about over 2 decades to fight them. Then they finally withdrew in 2001. So one is the capacity issue, the other is the ideological convergence with these terrorist organizations, and second is the indirectly the financial support which they are getting. So we have to need to understand this world. For example, in Syria we found that HTS Hayatul Tahrir al-Sham, they in a very short time they completely conquered the Syrian territory, but that was the prescribed organization by the Americans. But then they later on they said, no, they have come with our support. The same game is being played in Afghanistan, that on openly they say it's a terrorist, for example, they don't accept it, but tacitly they keep supporting them financially. The objective is to keep Pakistan destabilized, because if the Pakistan gets stabilized, if it got economically strong, and then we don't need IMF, we don't need World Bank.
But doesn't it suit Afghanistan? If Pakistan is stable, it means Afghanistan will also become stable.
Yes, they need to realize this, that Pakistan's stability means Afghanistan's stability. The prosperity and stability of Afghanistan mean Pakistan's stability and prosperity. I think the leader of Afghanistan need to realize this.
I hope they do realize it sooner than later. Speaking of which, many a times in the past when the Afghan government officials have been asked about the presence of Afghan nationals in Pakistan who have been involved in nefarious activities, they have said this is Pakistan's internal matter and they do not belong to us. Now recently there have been 2 dead bodies and there are so many other examples of dead bodies, but I am going to give the example of 2 dead bodies. The first, Luqman Khan, son of Kamal Khan, who is a resident of Khost district, whose dead body has been accepted by the Afghan interim government now, and he was killed in an operation on the 6th of February this very year by the Pakistani armed forces. Then the body of Ahmad alias Badruddin, who was a terrorist killed in Dera Ismail Khan, who is the son of Maulvi Ghulam Muhammad, the deputy governor of Baghtis province. These 2 bodies now have been accepted formally by the Afghan interim government as their own. Now that this has happened, there are a lot of again speculations, question marks by analysts, by other government officials in Pakistan as well, as to whether the Afghan interim government has finally accepted their involvement in such incidents. If so, will they move also further to neutralize such elements, and B, or were they under pressure to accept these, because there are so many other Afghan nationals who are still present and have been involved in such nefarious activities?
I think they were in a pressure, for example, in a kind of a pressure, because this has come in the media and the families of those who have been killed here, they came to know about it. So they must be asking their Afghan government to get the dead bodies back. I think the Afghanistan government and their leadership need to realize that Pakistan, whatever they have gained in Afghanistan, that also a major role was played by Pakistan. And as I said, the stability and prosperity of Afghanistan is directly in the interest of Pakistan also. There is no other country in the world which is as much get affected if anything happens in Afghanistan. So we have a common vision, common share way forward. Their success is our success is their success. They need to realize that, and we need to make them realize. And then second, those countries like I gave you an example of China, because they are investing heavily in, for example, they are helping them to build a railway line, they are helping them to build dams, and then Iran is also effectively involved in this. And then certain Central Asian states like Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, who borders Afghanistan. So we need to jointly work together. We need to engage each other directly, bilaterally or multilaterally, to find a common ground, so that we make sure that Afghanistan's soil is not used against any of its neighboring countries.
Do you feel there are certain elements within Pakistan or within our neighborhood that are supporting such nefarious elements like the fitna, like the Afghan interim government, or financially supporting such terrorist outfits so that they can continue to create havoc in Pakistan?
Exactly. There are irrefutable evidence that RAW is directly involved in the terrorist activities in Pakistan by supporting such anti-state element from the Afghan soil. You see, there is the Consulate General of Afghanistan in Jalalabad. Then the Consulate General of India in Kandahar, in Jalalabad. Why have they made those consulates there? The only objective is to undermine the sovereignty of Pakistan and to keep doing as much as they can to have such kind of anti-terrorist, anti-state activity in Pakistan. But we have come a long way. We have come a long way. We are fighting this fight of terrorism since 2021. Once the Operation Al-Mizan was launched, we have come to 2025. In between, there was a period of about 2 years when there was quite a peaceful situation in Pakistan, and Pakistan was the only country in the world who was able to surmount this huge challenge. And still Pakistan's armed forces resolve, especially of Pakistan Army, is absolute. The Pakistan professionalism of Pakistan Army has been recognized by the world. This is one of the most professional, trained and competent army. The terrorism now is on the run, for example, from Pakistan, and as I indicated to you, it's only in specific pockets. So we need to pay attention to those, keep those population or people from that area on board, and jointly work to eradicate this menace from our soil.
What I want to understand, General Sahib, is why in the recent months has there been a spike as far as such terrorist incidents is concerned. We've had an increase in the number of such incidents. We've had an increase in the number of fatalities because, of course, our armed forces are very vigilant and they have killed a lot of terrorists. Just in January, 245 fatalities, 185 militants, 40 security forces personnel and 20 civilians. And then there are reports of kidnappings and there are reports of skirmishes on the border. Why this period? Why since the last few months, in your point of view, are such terrorist outfits becoming more and more active? Is it I'm just thinking aloud, is it because Pakistan is slowly and steadily stabilizing itself economically?
One is that you are slowly and gradually stabilizing, and then I think these anti-Pakistan elements also wants to have a last-ditch battle and make a last-ditch effort, that whatever they can do, they must do it. And but that, as I told you, they are confined to only specific regions, and we need to learn from them. The way they have example, had made the roadblocks in away from the population center. So we need to upgrade our intelligence system, involve local community in this war against terrorism, and also have some kind of mechanism to check anybody entering a specific districts, anybody leaving. So we need to guard these points and upgrade our strategy, and then also identify such people who are working on behest of the foreign elements, who are supporting them with dollars just for their malified intention. And especially in those areas which are rich in mineral, as I told you, in Gwadar area and other districts and divisions of Balochistan, and especially in the North Waziristan, Dia Khan and Banu and Karak areas.
All right, my last question to you, I'd like a short answer, General Saab. You talked about the dollars. Let's talk about all the different equipment that has been found in Pakistan that is American and that has been left by the US forces when they exited Afghanistan in 2021, whether it be M16A4, M24 sniper rifles, whether it be night vision equipment and so on and so forth. There's a list of such American equipment that has been found by the Pakistani armed forces. To add to that, as you said in the beginning of our discussion, you talked about the money that was being regularly given by the previous government, and that Trump has now said he's going to stop this, this aid to the Afghan interim government. Can this stoppage of aid be used as some kind of tactic to stop the nefarious activities being patronized by the Afghan interim government?
Definitely. Once the aid is will be cut off, then they will be deprived of that line of, for example, lifeline support which they were getting. We used to get surprised why the dollar is stabilized in Afghanistan, why it doesn't get stabilized in Pakistan. So now we have come to know it was only $50 million every week which was being pumped into the Afghan economy. That should be one of the major reasons. Now we need to learn from this. What I can say is that US, for example, while leaving, as they have accepted that over $7 billion worth of ammunition and equipment, they left it behind. And then they say that there were different 400,000 different types of weapons which they have left.
That is true, sir. And I think now is the time maybe that some kind of pressure tactic could be put by the US current government in order for Afghanistan to rethink its strategy vis-a-vis this region. Thanks, sir. I'm a bit short of time, or else I would have continued. Major General Tariq Rasheed Saab, thank you very much to have joined us and to have come all the way to the studio to discuss terrorism in Pakistan and Pakistan's war against this terrorism that has been going on since 2021.